Hey, it's Aaron. I want to talk about the 2025 GMC Acadia. Orion's belt is a big waste of space. That joke sucked. Only 3 stars. The Acadia sees a couple new things this year, but it still remains a very spacious and nicely done kind of SUV. It's a mid-size, I think you would call it. It's got a really good engine, a great powertrain overall. It's pretty easy to drive, even though it is getting towards the larger of the SUV sizes in this segment anyway. It is kind of expensive. There are no hybrids or anything for it, so there's one way to drive it and that's it. But for 2025, it adds 8-passenger option for the Elevation trim, and then adds a new Elevation Premium trim. Those are a couple of new things this year. Both of those trims are basically the high end of the vehicle, and previously you could not get the third row in the Elevation. Now you can. This whole generation of Acadia was introduced just last year, just 2025 or 2024. So it's a pretty new and again, nicely done. Price tags, you're going to start in the 44,000 range for I said the Elevation wrong, right? Yeah, the Elevation is the bottom trim. Sorry, I said it was a top. Denali's the top. It's GMC. Denali is always the top. Anyway, the Elevation trim is the beginning trim. That's about $44,000. The AT4, which is kind of the off-road version of this, that's about 52.5, and then you're going to get into the Denali trim, which is up there at about 55,000, a little over that. So lots of price range going on in this particular one. Now, I personally think that the Elevation Premium trim is a great spot. You'll get it for about 47, and it's got pretty much everything you'll ask for. If you don't need the off-road stuff, and if you don't have to have Denali written on the side of your vehicle with all the little extras that comes with, that's a pretty great spot to fall into as far as slotting for this vehicle. But there is a lot of competition because GMC is a premium brand, so you can look at Chevrolet and find an equivalent. You can, and probably for a little better price, and then you can look elsewhere at other brands and probably find something that is similarly equipped, but a better price. But GMC, you're getting GMC, and there's a lot of kind of, there's nothing else that'll have this body style. There's nothing else that will have the GMC, what GMC is known for, their kind of ruggedness and so on, and premium quality. You might get close with a Buick, also a GM brand, but you won't find this overall shape and body, which is really kind of what sells it, I think. So under the hood here is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, outputting about 328 horsepower. That goes to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's a nicely done transmission. General Motors really knows how to do a transmission right. They did it right here. It feels good, doesn't feel like it doesn't know what to do. It always does what it should be doing. And it's you can get it in front wheel or all-wheel drive, except for the AT4, which is all-wheel drive only. Honestly, I would get the all-wheel drive regardless, even if you don't live where there's really bad weather. You get a little better launch with that all-wheel drive. You get better transmission mapping because of that, so you have better grip in all situations, including when you start out, and so you'll end up with better transmission shifting because of that. It's slightly different in the all-wheel drive versus the front wheel only, and then again you get that all-weather usability and all of that. It worked really well in Wyoming's weather, and I had it we're still in the winter now, and I had it really in the winter. It snowed that week. It was a winter week. and it did beautifully in that. So the third row is a little bit cramped. All vehicles of this size with third rows are going to be that way, but it is good for the segment. Easy to get in and out of. That was a big bonus. But somebody my size at 6'3" is not going to be climbing in and out of that third row on the regular easily, unless you're really into yoga or something. It's probably not very realistic for you. But for my teenagers and for kids, it's great. Also, plenty of cargo space in this thing. I really like that. We used the heck out of it. So my son has been practicing for a school play, and he's playing bass in that play. And I had to haul his bass amp and a bunch of other crap around for him for this. So there you go. This thing is very good for that. So I like the Acadia on the whole. The only thing I would tell you is it is worth shopping a little bit, because you may find something that you think is pretty much equivalent and is better priced. If you're looking for competitors here, like I said, there are a couple of other General Motors options. There is both a Buick and a Chevrolet option against this. There's also the Ford Explorer, probably its chief competition. The Explorer is really well done now as well. And then you can look at a couple of others like the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, Honda Pilot, stuff like that. Honestly, though, I would put this against any of those, and I think the price tag is justified because it is just a little more premium than everybody else, except maybe for Buick and possibly that Hyundai Palisade. Hyundai's done a pretty good job of upping their interior quality. So yeah, that's kind of where I would put this and what I would put it against. And honestly, I think it is a winner. So I think a lot of people will like this vehicle. Worth checking out. Again, it was brand new last year, so this is a new generation for this vehicle. I really like the powertrain. Just nicely done overall. So there you go. That's what I got. The 2025 GMC Acadia. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.